How about someone else start? Because I was it was very stuff heavy in the last episode. So I'm gonna play an Abed right now and go.
I have a question about the question because I was like, what approach is this like specifically as like a woman, a lie, or is this like
right?
this is
Just
more
like
gearing towards nutrition, or is this like spiritual?
I know, right? Because when I
Yeah,
heard this
it's-
question the first time, I thought it was about it was framed in my head about health, a lie that I believed about my health.
Okay.
But then I actually opened up this question to a community of women on my Instagram.
Let's start with
and
that.
Yes, let's start.
Yeah,
Okay, we're starting.
Clearly, we're all
There we
being
go.
all, like,
reset.
Yes. Yeah.
Reset. Okay.
That's a great place to start.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
One woman said that she used to believe her weight equaled her beauty and value. And although it's still a struggle, her priorities have shifted.
Mhm.
Another said she unlearned the idea that she had to fit into her old clothes and instead embraces the concept of clothes fitting her body as it is now, not the other way around.
Mhm.
One woman rejected the idea that becoming a mom means losing your identity. She's found that it's actually a time for rediscovery and growth. She also challenged the lie that value comes from doing, embracing a deeper sense of identity rooted in simply being, especially in her identity in Christ.
Mhm.
Another woman said, "You're not required to be available 24/7." She described she described the belief that a good mom must always be constantly present and put her kids first at all times, and how she's working to unlearn that self-sacrificial mindset, recognizing that it's okay and important for her children to see her prioritize things like friendships, health, marriage, and personal growth.
Yeah.
She's learning to set boundaries and model a life where the family doesn't revolve entirely around the children's wants, but includes rhythms that support everyone.
Wow, that's good.
So,
Good one.
all in all, I noticed a theme that these women are moving from pressure and performance to freedom, grace, intentional living, and shifting from I must do and be everything to I am already valuable and my needs matter too.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
thoughts.
Wow.
They said it all.
They did.
But yeah, the way that
I
so
agree.
I
We're
love the
done.
way they brought up a lot. Like I thought it was so interesting because when I thought about that question, I was just thinking, mostly about like my health and just lies I believe, and all that stuff. But I thought it was just really interesting the themes about like our appearance being a big one and mattering less and less as they grow older, which is interesting because I feel like a lot of times that can be the other way around. Like the older you get, the maybe more you're insecure about some of that stuff. But maybe these women are just really spiritually, emotionally mature and
Yeah,
are
right.
really growing in that, maybe aware of that. So I see that being a major theme in these women, the freedom that comes from not maybe putting that as the top priority. Their
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, going off of that, I don't know if you girls could agree with this, but I find when I actually choose like not to look in the mirror very much, it like significantly changes
Wow, that's so good.
everything. Like I've gone through periods where like let's say I work out and I'm like, wow, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling motivated because of the way that I look, or vice versa. Feeling really discouraged because of the way that I look. And I'm like, I need to just like stop looking at myself so much in the mirror, because it's either fueling my vanity or it's totally destroying my confidence.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I find like even when we went to Uganda years ago, when I met my husband, like we didn't have mirrors.
Yeah.
You literally saw yourself in the reflection of like the
Water.
occasional car, which most of them were like motorcycles, but it was like 2 months of like
Oh, wow.
like that size of a mirror that like we brought with us,
Yeah.
and that was all you had.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And like coming home was like a shock of being like, whoa, I could like see myself way too often. There's a mirror here in my house and here.
Yeah.
That's a really
So I don't know. It's just a interesting concept that I think mirrors can do us a disservice sometimes.
Yeah, and they're more of a new thing. And like if you think of the invention of the selfie, the front-facing camera.
Dude.
I saw a girl online. I wish I saved the video so I could give her credit. She was talking about how the same thing. She was like, I don't think we were created to see ourselves so much. She was like, even mirrors alone, are new. Like back then you could, like you said, catch a glimpse of your
Yep.
reflection in water or
Puddle.
like bronze or something like that. But like seeing yourself so much isn't healthy.
It's not natural.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you become so critical. And she had this beautiful thing where she said, really, the mirror should be how others see you. So basically, like spending time in community with people
Wow.
that you love and how they respond to you and like what you see on their face and like their reactions to you should always be your mirror and your guide of how you are and how you look.
It's
And I
deep.
said,
I say.
wow.
I said, hey.
I mean,
Whoa, sorry.
what? It was a
That's
whole
good.
sermon and she
That's
wasn't even
good.
trying to preach. It was
No.
beautiful.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
That is
really
really
good.
beautiful. It's funny. I
Yeah.
freaked out when you said selfie because I remember distinctively. Okay. So I did hair for 10 years and I did it like fresh out of high school. And so I remember specifically when selfies became a thing.
Mhm.
And I started like getting into like my mid 20s and then like high schoolers were coming in, I'm doing their hair. And like back when we were kids, if you held your phone up and you were taking a photo of yourself, like I would be mortified and
Embarrassing.
embarrassed if somebody
Yes.
saw me.
Me too.
And I
Like,
remember seeing kids
still am.
doing this in my chair. And I was like,
'Cause it's
what
the
are
norm.
you doing? Like I was embarrassed for them.
That's funny because they're the ones that call us cringy, but they're being
Yeah.
cringy.
Yes.
They call
Literally.
millennials, Gen
Yeah.
Z calls millennials
Chuggy.
cringy.
Because we
but
wear
like, y'all are
skinny
being
jeans
cringy.
and have
cringy.
sidebars.
Chuggy, isn't the word is it like a word chuggy?
Oh man, they
Might
have a
be getting-
whole
yeah.
language.
We'll
I
talk
need a
about
whole
us.
encyclopedia, dictionary,
That's
thesaurus,
so-
whatever. With
Yeah,
yeah, but that's
so
really
Yeah.
funny.
funny. Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
it was crazy.
So
Like I
normal.
just remember
Yeah.
that and being like, oh God, what are they doing? Do they know I can see
Do they know I can see them?
I'm
Right.
here? Like and then it just started
No
happening
shame.
more and more and
Yes.
more. And then
Yes.
now it's just the world we live in and it's nothing.
I'm laughing
This is
so hard
crazy.
right now because I'm remembering a school trip in middle school with my disposable camera. And I remember being like, I want to take a picture of myself. But like I'm on the charter bus. You guys know charter buses, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in the back and I'm waiting for everyone to fall asleep so I can do a like disposable camera selfie. And so
Oh God.
I'm like, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it now. And I do it and the flash goes off. And so then someone wakes up and they think I'm trying to take a picture of them sleep.
Oh,
but like I'm really just trying
You're
to take a picture of
mortified.
myself.
You're
I'm mortified.
mortified.
And it just
Oh,
and then you gotta
no.
wait because you don't know what the picture looks like. So I take it
Oh,
to
God.
Rite Aid. It wasn't Rite Aid.
Yeah.
It was probably like what? Perry Drugs. I'm telling my age right now. I take it, you wait, and then you get the and it's just like the most awful photo. Like eyes like just going in the
They're
one
red.
direction.
They were red.
The
Remember?
chin
You
red.
did-
Oh, yes,
we
because the
got
flash
weird.
made it.
We look
Anyway.
like zombies, but
Just a
they,
little
Yeah,
his-
you
just
used
a
to be
little history.
embarrassed.
It was
And
embarrassing.
You used to actually ask people hey, will you take a photo for me? Like,
but you know
people were
what's
brave
funny?
and had a conversation.
You know,
with a
it's funny we're
stranger.
saying we were embarrassed. Oh gosh, man. The level of I don't like to think about middle school, high
I
school.
know it's
No,
rough.
Even
We don't
early
need to.
college stuff. The amount we don't need to go there. No,
Yep, we don't
that's
need to.
and I apologize to anyone,
we don't have to go there,
the
but
things, anyways. But what I was gonna say was it's funny that you're saying you're embarrassed because I'm seeing more and more Gen Zers being like, man, we give millennials such a hard time, but I'm kind of jealous of them. They didn't care.
Yeah.
They were like
yeah.
living their
Yeah.
lives, wearing their funky belts
Mhm.
and skinny
Outside.
jeans and no shame.
No shame.
They were doing that. They were
Yeah,
they were
because-
actually living
because we weren't
their
being
lives.
posted.
every
Like,
time.
Well,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. We all cared. Everyone has cared about what people think about them,
Sure,
probably forever,
sure.
right? And like what we
Yes.
look like, but we weren't worried about someone freaking posting it. I can't even imagine like
yes.
the debilitation
gosh.
I would feel.
Or we
Yeah.
didn't care. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like we posted,
Even
at least in
oh
my,
my gosh,
we
Facebook?
posted way too much. We would
posted
have
too
full
much.
conversations on Facebook. Like it would be like, hey,
Yes,
Serena.
yes.
Hey, it'd be on her wall. This is not just like a
No.
message. This
It
is
was a
public.
combo.
it was the birth
Hey,
of
Serena.
Facebook.
What's going on? What are you up to today?
And then
She
they
would
come
go
back.
on my wall. It wasn't
Yep.
even a
The
reply. They didn't
wall.
have that.
Oh my god.
And there was like,
yes.
hey, Steph,
I
not
love
my.
that.
You had it. Yep.
Because it was.
Yes.
NM, HMU.
Yes.
Hey, Y, apostrophe. You know, like
No, let's just start
like
with
we were so cringe, but it was freedom.
it
was
was
like
freedom.
freedom to be cringe. Everyone watch my cringe. Like it was so like it was so nice.
Yeah.
It was so nice, but oh, so
Yeah,
painful
it
to look back.
was.
Yeah.
I would err on the side of it was better. I remember when the digital camera came out though, it got even more cringy because there's Facebook, and so you go out or you have an event and you take 86 photos and you upload all of them into one album
Yes.
and you call it
Yes.
Friday night.
Yes.
Oh.
And it's there's no
Literally a
bad photo.
random-
You just post them all.
Yo, I gotta say this. Okay.
I
I'm
love
gonna
that so
expose
much, though.
myself.
I
I'm gonna
forgot
ex-
about
is that the right
that.
word? I'm going to. This is gonna make me look bad, but I don't care. This is a PSA.
We don't care what people think.
This is
Remember,
a PSA.
we don't care what people think.
Listen,
We're
I don't
millennials.
care how like creepy this makes me look. This is gonna help someone. Maybe save a marriage.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm ready for this.
You need to go to your Facebook
Nope.
and go through
Nope.
your profile pics
Nope.
right now.
No, I'm not
There
doing
is.
it.
I've occasionally over the years
I deactivated my Facebook.
stumbled across
It doesn't
people's.
exist.
Well, that's
Sorry, I'm
probably
so
the way to
sorry.
go, honestly. But I've stumbled across people's profile, and you're just like, oh yeah, and you go
Yeah.
just click
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, and you see like these people are now in their 30s, 40s, married. But they still have pictures with their exes from like middle school, high school, with like they have pictures in those basement parties holding red Solo cups.
Yep.
Very questionable digital camera picture. I'm like, do they know this is?
Yeah.
But I don't want to tell them because that exposes that
Yeah,
I was
then you're
looking at
looking.
your like I don't know what's
Why are
worse.
you
It's
looking?
probably worse for me. But y'all need to go through your Facebook profile
Yeah,
pictures
that's right.
and clean up because
That's right.
someone, a
Yes.
boss maybe, like a
Yes.
future
Mhm.
employment
Oh my
situation is
God.
gonna be going through your old Facebook
Yeah.
pictures and being like,
Yeah.
we can't hire this
Yeah.
person
Yep.
because they were crazy.
Just do it.
in
Just
high
get rid of
school.
it.
Yeah,
Just
just
get
get rid of it. That's
Like
the
yeah,
solution.
yeah.
Be like
Doesn't
Jen.
matter that it was a part of your life. Like, just it doesn't need to be there for everybody to see. It's different now than it was. It was kind of
is.
fun to not care. And
It
just
was.
post
Yeah,
it.
they care way too
now,
much.
Yeah.
Now you're like,
oh, if you don't get
just-
100 likes,
yeah.
delete that picture. What's wrong
Yeah.
with you?
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
that's just a whole nother thing. I
Yeah.
feel bad for the younger
Also, nobody
generation.
actually
Yeah.
cares about you, so just stop. You know?
Yeah, like I don't
No
care
one,
that I
like,
have like
actually
200
cares.
followers. Like,
People-
Yeah.
Think about the stuff you don't care about.
Yes.
But like be the person on the other side thinking that I care about it. Like I don't. And then put yourself in that like position. Just remember.
And then do a
It's so funny we're
backflip.
talking about this because this morning, probably how I scratched or gashed my forehead, I was thinking of this cringe moment from 2008, y'all, for like 30 minutes. And it was so cringe. I will never tell you guys. You'll never know about
Yeah.
it because it was that
yeah, I
cringe.
have some of
Yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah.
And I was sitting there trying to get ready and I was thinking about
Oh,
it and I was
no.
like, how do I erase this from history? And I was
Yeah,
like, I can't.
yeah.
But then I was like, no one's probably thinking about it. But
Yeah.
then I was like, but what if they are? That makes it even worse because it's that bad. Like, what if it's stuck in their memory because it was that bad?
Is
But
that your
But
untruth?
that's
You
what
need to
made
learn.
you-
that
Oh my
moment.
Yeah,
gosh.
maybe that's it.
Maybe it is.
Listen, but that's what made you. Man, the stuff.
Listen,
If people knew.
come on, preach.
But listen, if we didn't have those things, then I wouldn't be the like. Probably wouldn't be. I wouldn't have as much compassion,
Yes.
grace, patience. I wouldn't be as quirky and silly as I am.
Yes.
Probably, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think those are qualities.
Yeah.
but you might not
I
think that,
know, right?
But like that's what
They
made
are.
me.
It builds character. No, I
Yeah.
think
It shapes
yeah,
your character in good ways.
Yeah.
Exactly. It builds character.
Oh, so just to break it, kind of like bring it. Okay, so like C.S. Lewis said this thing. He said that
Bringing it back.
Huge. Huge. Yes.
I know. But he says true, and I'm gonna paraphrase a bit. True humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking
Think
of
of
yourself less.
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
So I'm gonna say confidence isn't looking at let me see. I didn't polish this thought. Confidence isn't looking less of yourself, but looking at yourself less.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Did I say it right? Do you get what I'm getting
I
at?
get
Because you're
what
talking
you're
about
getting at. I get it.
mirrors and
Yeah.
we look at ourselves less.
Yeah.
So I think actually we become more confident
Yeah.
the less we pay attention to those
It's
things,
true.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at other things. Like I can
Yeah.
agree, like when I've been on
Mhm.
trips or
True.
life's just busy and I don't if I'm just twiddling my thumbs and just looking in the mirror, like, yeah, like I'll start to fixate on things
Mhm.
and obsess over things. And I think that's exactly where the enemy wants us is
Yeah.
just to ruminate over, especially as women, of like,
Mhm.
oh, if you just get this or you look this way or you do this,
Yeah.
then and nobody's thinking about that stuff. Like I talked about my insecurities last week
Mhm.
with you guys.
Mhm.
Some of my insecurities and the things I was obsessing over, and it's like people were not thinking about that.
Yeah.
But the enemy's like, no, look, like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna look at that. They're not gonna notice anything else.
Yeah.
And then that kind of
Mhm.
starts to shape your character
Mhm.
because then you become insecure. You become
Yeah.
more like reserved. You become,
Yeah.
and it's actually covering up and taking away from who God's actually made you to be. Because if we're living in our identity in Christ,
Yep.
these things won't matter as much. And then we get to live in that freedom, which is like,
Mhm.
and I've seen those people, like the most confident people are the most like you gravitate towards them. There's a
Yeah.
beauty there because you're like, I don't know,
Mhm.
they just seem
Freedom.
so comfortable in their skin. They're just
Mhm.
so comfortable with themselves.
Mhm.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
Actually hilarious because, well, it's not hilarious. It's actually the lie that I was debating on whether or not I wanted to share the lie because I was like, it's too spiritual.
Share the
But
lie. Get
There is
spiritual.
no too
There's no too
spiritual.
spiritual. Yeah.
100%, this will forever be my testimony. The lie that I believed, so I grew up in a Christian home. I went to church, all that. But like by the time I got to college, I was like, I mean, God's there. If I need him, I'll call him.
I can't even imagine that version of you.
Yes, it was a different me. And I am just thankful for God's grace. But the lie that I believed, even leading up to that, was if I live life as a woman of God or if I follow the way of Jesus, it will be so boring. Like life will be boring. I won't have fun. There will be this list of rules. I won't be able to be myself. And you were talking about identity and freedom.
Wow, interesting.
And it's just crazy because that was actually the first thing that I thought of when I read that question.
Mm.
And fast forward to like 2016 when I really hit rock bottom and doing things my way and trying to have one foot in the world and one foot out, but like have God on the side, but like really understanding the gospel. Like, and I'm not ashamed to admit that like I was 30 years old when I first fully understood the gospel of Jesus Christ. The lie of living this way, you will not have any freedom, you will be just boring and all that. Oh my gosh, you guys, let me tell you, I am more me
Yeah.
than I have ever been
Yeah, I've heard
living in the freedom of Christ, not
Amen.
caring what people think. Why don't I care what people think? It's not some arrogant attitude of like, well, this is just me, like live with it. No, it's just, this is who I am. And
Yeah.
I don't have to be embarrassed about my mistakes, the things that I'm not doing right. I don't have to be embarrassed about
Yeah.
any of that or have any shame for the things that
Yeah.
I even used to do. Because I remember thinking on the topic of Facebook, I'm like, man, there's some photos of me with a red Solo cup for
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
out
Oh my
there, and then
gosh.
how am I
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
come
yeah.
out? And I'm like, hey, everybody, let me tell you about how Jesus has came in and like transformed. They're gonna be like, wait a minute, like and it's like, no, I don't. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think the biggest lie that I will preach till the day I die is living the way that we're intended to live in Jesus is the most freeing. The boundaries that God has set for us as a loving father is actually for our own freedom. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like, if you're listening, whether you're a believer or not, whether you're a believer and you're just feeling like,
Mhm.
oh, I can't be fully unapologetically a Christian out loud in the world. Absolutely, you can. Because it's the only way, really. Like, you can't hide something that first off, you can't hide something that's completely changed your life. Like, when I talk
Yeah.
about matcha, I'm talking about matcha, okay?
She just can't help it.
When I
not to
talk
think
about, like,
I
seriously,
really trust matcha.
it's
That's
just
how passionate
I'm
you are
talking
about
it.
matcha?
Yes, I have a hat. I'll wear it next episode. I got a hat made. It says matcha. It has.
Wow.
It's been very
I didn't
helpful.
know this about you.
It's been very helpful. But like, you didn't? Oh my gosh!
No.
See, we're learning so much about each
Oh
other.
my gosh.
But like when you love
Jesus and
something,
matcha.
Jesus and matcha.
yes. I mean, come on. We've been to TJ Maxx and we've seen the Jesus
How
and
much-
coffee shirts.
How
Yeah,
much I
yeah.
love Jesus.
Listen,
How much I love Jesus.
Wow. No, mom.
Mom joke.
Come
this is
on.
making me
Dad
think
joke?
of a
Mom
skit
joke.
that we wanted to do. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay.
God.
But no, seriously, when you talk about stuff that's changed your life, you talk about it
Yeah.
and you share it and
That's
all
true.
of that. And again, this is not some new groundbreaking like idea, but really like personally, that lie held me back so much.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just so thankful.
Now, do you think I mean, I don't know that we want to really give credit to the lie, but do you have any idea where it came from?
That's a good
Like, do you
question.
think it was like, because you are, you have said you're energetic, you're fun, like you love being silly. So,
Mhm.
do you think it was your own personality feeling like you couldn't, like, what was it, a church you were a part of, like
I
upbringing?
I'm pretty sure it was a blend of all of that, but I will say this because this is at the root, I think, of all people that don't want to surrender their life to Christ. I didn't want to live by rules.
Yeah.
I They just don't, and I think that is just the reality.
Mm.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and try and sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was cool. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't obviously. I was
Right.
living in darkness, but like in my mind, it
Yeah.
was what I wanted to
Yeah.
do. It was me like doing life my way, and
Yeah.
then when I needed it, I didn't realize like, hey. It's not just a list of rules that God wants you to live by. Like, this is the way it should be so that you can actually live healthy.
Yeah.
So it was
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
obviously, yes.
Sure.
And then you see other people living their life maybe, and you think, oh,
Mm.
that's how I have to be. Like maybe I'm looking at the
Mm.
pastor's
Yeah. Yeah.
wife
Yeah.
or a woman in ministry, and I'm thinking, well, I'm too
Oh.
crazy to look like to be out here representing the Lord. I got a quirky personality. I'm not polished up like that, so I probably should just kind of be a like closet Christian, and then like I'm good. But really, I think there's beauty in just no, here's my story.
Yeah.
Here's what I walked through,
Yeah.
and this is the personality that the Lord saw fit for me to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And He loves me, and I love Him. And so I think it's a mix of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's a really good question. I would like to think more about that because I'll probably have other thoughts about
I
where
mean,
it
I
came
also
from.
think it's a lot of things. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the enemy is out to get
Yeah.
us, right? And like
Right.
just trying to plant whatever insecurity
Mm-hmm.
he can.
Yeah.
But it
Like,
can
yeah.
start through any means,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
really refreshing perspective, though, because I think, like, I talk about this with Garrett. We've talked about this kind of thing a lot of like growing up. If you've grown up in the church, it's a blessing,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
never look at that, like, I grew up in the church, like, oh, it's the
Yeah.
worst.
Right.
No, it's
That's
such a blessing.
amazing.
It's so,
Yes.
like, even people who say, oh, I don't have a testimony, like, I didn't really do anything. Like, and I'm like, dude, if you grew up and you had a steady walk, and
Yes.
like, everyone goes through things. It doesn't have to be like, grandiose, whatever, but that's such a beautiful story. Side note.
Mhm.
But we talked a lot about how like you grow up in the faith and that can be a great thing. But there's a
Mhm.
lot of times, maybe as kids, it's more we're indoctrinated, if that's the right
Yeah.
word. Like we're just taught like we're more it's modeled to us like how to just live a Christian life. And so we kind of follow
Mhm.
along but haven't owned it ourselves
Yeah.
or fully internalized and
Yeah.
understood it. So it can come across
Mhm.
as rules. It can come across as rigid. And all of course, as a kid, you're still experiencing things
Mhm.
for the first time. And so the fruit of the world is always going to look more delicious
Yep.
and juicy.
Yep.
And I mean, let's go back to the garden, like
Yep.
that was the case,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
we know what happened there. And so I
Yeah.
think that a lot of times not everyone falls for that trap, but I think it can happen a
Mhm.
lot, especially from kids who maybe are more sheltered or grow up in the church or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. I know that was the case for me. And like similar to you, I was just so infatuated with the things of this world.
Mhm.
I loved God. I loved the Lord even as a
Yeah.
kid,
Yep.
but I was just so, because of my vulnerabilities,
Mhm.
my specific vulnerabilities, and maybe the situations I was in, I was just impressionable,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of peers that
Yep.
I felt pressure from, and kind of fell into these things, and then felt the sting of it. Like, hey,
Yes.
I'll tell my kid, don't touch the
Yes.
fire. Do not
Yes.
touch it. Like, don't touch the gas, whatever.
Yep. Mhm.
And like, ooh, shiny. Like they
Mhm.
want to,
Yeah.
and then they'll get burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's all it takes. And so I think coming on the other side of being burned and being embraced by Christ and experiencing healing and all of these things,
Mm.
then I understood, why
Yep.
maybe he had these things in place and I don't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, and now I'm so far removed from who I was at like 15, 16. I don't even think about that person.
Mhm.
But sometimes, occasionally, I'll look back and be like, wow, I'm living in that freedom that I only dreamed of.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm.
living in that peace that I didn't know was
Yeah.
possible. I remember living a time where I was just smothered in lies and fear
Mhm.
and guilt and
Mhm.
insecurity and thinking there's no way out of this, and
Mm.
only by the mercy of God, by the grace of God, did he swoop me out. And now I'm getting to experience what it was that he called me to, his true intention
Mm.
for our lives, right? Like I can live with someone I love, my spouse, and it's right and it's good and it's
Mhm.
glorifying to God. And I don't have to live in that like
Mm.
fear
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
what is man going to think of me,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
do they like me? Do they not like me?
Mhm.
Am I, doing this? Am I doing that? I don't have
Mhm.
to live with the guilt and the shame that comes from living in sin
Yeah.
Mhm.
and having to keep filling that cup because
Yeah.
I always feel empty. It's like I feel this contentness because of the goodness of God that I never did before.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I
Exactly.
totally agree. That's a lie that
Mm.
I'm sure it creeps up maybe in
Yeah.
different ways for us now.
Mhm.
Like, can God truly satisfy us in our desires?
That's so
Now it
yeah.
comes in a little bit more of a sneaky
Yeah.
way, like,
Uh-huh.
do you
Yep.
need that cast iron skillet
Uh-huh.
stuff? Like, yeah, I do. I'll always have a
Cast
justification. It's
iron
like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. Like, I am
Do
Yes,
you
good
I'm
need that
enough.
good.
silk bonnet?
Yeah,
Right?
you do need the silk
I, in
bonnet
fact, do
made
need the
from,
silk
yes,
bonnet.
I do need the silk
But no.
bonnet. That's life changing,
Yes.
up there with matcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah,
That's
there's
so
some
funny.
thoughts I had with that. What about you, Andrea? What's a lie?
I think as I kind of thought about this more, I'm like, I think there's actually quite a few if I'm really sitting with this and being honest about like current struggles. But I think one of the biggest things through my life has been that like I can keep the peace and maybe I should keep the peace. Like I've always been what you might call a peacemaker, and not in a way that's like, oh wow, you're a peacemaker and
Mhm.
everyone likes you. But that's what it kind of felt like,
Mhm.
was like I would just kind of get along with everybody. Like there was always peace, but at a serious cost. That's even going
Mm.
back to like my health journey. That's a huge part of it because I would internalize so much. It's almost like in order for me to keep this way, there was like every vibration that was happening in my life was like happening inside. And then so I might appear like I'm calm and
Mm.
peaceful on the
Yeah.
outside, but I'm trying to like absorb everybody's energy and shock,
Mhm.
which clearly, doesn't work for a human
Yeah.
body. And
Right.
so it contributed to so much of my stress. And I think a lot of my gut issues
Mhm.
were triggered by
Wow.
stress.
I remember you
Um,
saying that. It's interesting.
yeah. And that even going back to like our bodies working for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really believe all of most of my issues with food and pain was really stress related.
Mhm.
And then yes, of course, there is that's like the spiritual side of it. And then yes, there's the other conversations we had about like food and stuff and
Mhm.
like being conscious about what we are consuming
Mhm.
definitely plays a role, especially when you're in a vulnerable place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, well now we're at the bottom here. So
Mhm.
now let's be really thoughtful about what we're putting in our body. And
Yeah.
that was what kind of helped me
Yeah.
get out of it, but there was also like emotional and a lot of spiritual emotional work that I had to go through while going through supplements and doing probiotics and all this
Mhm.
stuff that helped me kind of heal my gut as well, which is like a conversation for another day. But peacemaking, I think, has been like a huge struggle for me, that I need to keep the peace, whether it's in friendships, in my family, being liked by people. Like that was another huge thing. I just have like kind of always got along with people.
Mhm.
And so I just felt like I had to keep getting along with
Mhm.
everybody and keep being
Mhm.
liked by everybody. And
Mhm.
that doesn't work.
No.
Like Christ was not
Especially for the
liked.
Christian.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Christ was not liked by everybody. And that
Yeah.
was a pill I had to start swallowing, like when I was starting to like really get into the dietetics program. It's kind of like my timeline, which God, I don't know how long that was ago, maybe like 5 years ago or something,
Mhm.
or less. Um, he started really working on that as I was going to school. And then I was also going to like internship rotations. And so I was
Mhm.
seeing a lot of people.
Mhm.
And it was like during COVID, And I think it was just being thrown into a new setting every few months was challenging me to be like, okay, here's a new group of people. Here's a new group of people, and wanting to be liked and wanting to get along. And he started really working on this with me and really, being like talking about freedom, walking in freedom of who I am, regardless of if I'm like, man, I used to like pour just so much energy into striving to have what I viewed as peace and be liked.
A question I have for you. So you felt like you needed to be a source of peace for people, right? So
Yeah.
the more you've grown in your relationship with God and released that, how does even the verse that I'll give you a peace that surpasses understanding, or like God's source
Yeah.
of peace,
Yeah.
how has that shaped and informed that part of you?
That's a great question. I mean, that's actually really perfect, because to me that's the answer. Like, he gives a peace that doesn't make any sense in the midst of like chaos, sleep deprivation, like all of the things, the trials. Like, I don't have to strive for it, and I can't make it myself. So that is literally the answer. Is he, and so many times since having my baby, I think that has been a reminder for me. I mean, like, he is providing me peace when it doesn't make any sense. And that's without like thinking of specific situations. That is just the constant coming back to that, being like, okay, you are the peace. I can't conjure it myself.
Thanks for spending time with us today on True and Tried. If this episode encouraged you, be sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. You can always connect with us on social media. We would actually love to hear from you. We mean that. Until next time, we'll see you back here where health, home, and heart come together.